Let's talk 2026 fashion trends. The good, the bad, and the right out ugly. I've watched a lot of trend videos over the last few weeks, and I have distilled what I've seen there into the most important aesthetics and moods that we'll be seeing in the fashion world in 2026. So rather than going into individual micro trends, I'm going to be focusing on the main moods and vibes that we've been seeing and we will be seeing in the coming few months. So I'm going to take a look at these trends through the lens of my own style and to see which trends I want to dabble in a bit and which I can recreate with items from my own wardrobe. By the way, if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Kat. I make videos about all things fashion and style, so if that sounds like your cup of tea, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you back here. So the first trend that we're going to see in 2026 is what I'm going to call a minimal take on maximalism. We've seen on the runways many more statement pieces, more glamour, more individualism than we've seen in a long time. And the fashion industry is definitely moving away from the kind of beigey, neutral, acquired luxury aesthetic that's been dominating over the last few years. So we're going to see this take on maximalism mainly in the form of architectural shapes. We're going to be seeing more balloon trousers, harem trousers, balloon skirts, very striking long coats with exaggerated shoulder lines and funnel necks. So the strong shapes are still dominating, but rather than pairing these with other exaggerated items, what we're seeing is that these statement pieces are being pared down with more relaxed items like simple t-shirts, for example. All right, so let me show you a few pieces that I think encapsulate this new kind of maximalist trend perfectly. The first thing I want to show you is this balloon skirt from COS. This is a great way of tapping into the trend of the exaggerated shapes because at a fairly minimal investment, you can have this skirt. And I really love this now for the remaining months of the winter with a pair of boots and then just going on like with an oversized jumper. I think that is so nice and feminine and plain. And then of course in the summer you could just wear this with a t-shirt or a tank top and a pair of sandals and it will still work. So I think this is a really good one and I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this. And this skirt is like super easy to dress up or down. I've given you two different looks in the cutaways here. One of them is a little bit smarter, I would say, with a pair of pointy boots. And then I've gone in with a fluffy jumper and some pearls, which ties into a lot of other trends that I'm going to be touching on a little bit later. And then I've also styled the same skirt in a bit more of a tomboyish way, which is probably more something that I would wear. I paired it with quite a plain cashmere jumper from Massimo Dutti in a kind of stone color. And then I've paired the whole thing with a leather jacket from Mango. So I want to show you this because in a way that taps into the same trend as I mentioned earlier. So this jacket I have been sizing up at full price for a very long time and then in actual fact it disappeared out of the store. I happened to be in the store the other day and saw this one, which was the only one left at half price. So how can you say no? But I think this is a super, super nice jacket. So this is a bit of a thicker jacket. You can wear that in winter, especially if you have a knit or something underneath it. And you don't happen to be in Finland. It will keep you nice and toasty. I really like this. It's tapping into that 70s bomber vibe. It doesn't have the funnel neck, but that's okay. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about funnel necks because they can be a little bit annoying. I don't think I have the longest neck in the world, so they will always like touch me here, and this is exactly where the makeup ends. So it's a bit of a mess. I do appreciate that they look fantastically cool, but you know, comfort is also important. And just to touch on statement outerwear as well, you will have seen this a few times now in my recent videos. In the end, I decided to keep the mustard yellow Suzanne coat because it is just too nice. That one happens to have a funnel neck. I'm not keeping it because funnel necks are trendy or anything like that. I'm keeping it because I really love the color. And bold colors is another thing that we're going to be seeing this year, but more to that later. And I think it will be a nice thing to have for the rest of the winter, and then obviously coming into the winter 2026-2027. In terms of statement pieces, I have more that I can show you, and I hope it'll give you some outfit inspo. But a great way to incorporate this trend is leather, and in particular I think leather bottoms, leather pants, or leather skirts. I've got a couple of different ones here to show you. So these ones I showed you in my winter sales haul. The tag is still on, but I am more than likely keeping them because, to be honest, I just think they are too good to return, and I will probably regret it if I do. So these are like bell-bottomed green suede pants, and they look super, super cool and super statement. And you can just dress these down with a nice fluffy jumper, and your look is basically made. But if the whole colorful suede thing is a little bit much for you, a pair of black leather pants really is a thing of beauty, I think. I think they're edgy, I think they're cool, and they're also a maximalist statement piece. And I happened to have naughtily ordered a pair in the sale that I'm going to show you now. And again, excuse that the tag is still on as well. It has one of these absolutely horrendous tags that goes the whole way down the leg, so you can really not wear these and return them. So these are a pair of black leather barrel trousers, and I actually saw these on another influencer on the internet, and I thought they were super, super cool. Now, the reason I haven't taken this tag off yet is that they are a little bit big. I'm between sizes, always between a 40 and a 42, and the 40 was out of stock, so I ordered the 42. And I am inclined to keep them because with a belt I can make them work. I've styled them in the cutaways with a plain black jumper. It's a new one from Adolfo Dominguez. It's really, really beautiful jumper that is just a tiny bit see-through. And then I thought to contrast against the heaviness of this leather trouser, I am going in with a pair of slingbacks. I think heels look really, really beautiful with that style of pant. And then I added as accessories a snakeskin clutch from Zara from the summer, and combined all of this with a Massimo Dutti wool blazer that I also picked up in the sale and haven't had the heart returning it. And I think finally, from my recent wardrobe additions, this is also a great example for the kind of maximalist trend styled minimally. These Massimo Dutti knee-high boots that are sort of covered in fur. I'm going to come a bit closer and hopefully you can see them really well. These are a beautiful, and they are so different, so playful. I love these, and I'm kind of a bit sad that the winter's going to be over very soon because I'll have limited opportunity now to wear them over the next few weeks. And these are just so, so, so cool. And again, I think if you have one statement piece like this, they'll do all the talking and you can keep the rest super, super plain, and this will be the focus of your outfit. Aesthetic number 2 that we're also seeing continue on from last year is a more feminine way of dressing. So we're moving away from these super exaggerated shoulders and just oversized pieces that have dominated the fashion industry for a good few years now. So these days are over now, and we're moving to a softer, but at the same time more defined, more refined, more feminine way of tailoring. So we're going to see strong shoulders, but not exaggerated. And then we're going to see the cinched waist, and all in all, the hourglass silhouette is starting to dominate again. And within this whole trend of dressing more feminine, I'm also going to lump in the various sub-trends that we've been seeing, which are the sheer trend, the lace trend, and I'm also going to throw in here brooches and neck scarf, which have been all over Pinterest. I've got a couple of things on this rack that I think encapsulate this feminine trend beautifully. The first thing that I did pick up in the cross sale just very, very recently is this sheer skirt. This is, I appreciate, a trend item and it might be dead in 2 years' time, but it was very affordable and I really, really wanted a skirt like that ever since I filmed my spring trends video about a year ago. And I tried a few of these skirts and they didn't fit because this material, it's very stiff, so it won't stretch, it won't budge. I got this skirt in a 42 and it sits quite low on the hip, but I know if I had ordered the 40 that it would have been too small and too uncomfortable around here to kind of move around in it. I think this is a great piece if you just want to have a little play with this whole sheer trend. So I've styled it up for you in the cutaways, and I was actually surprised how easy this was to style. So you can just wear it with a nice fluffy knit, for example, and some boots for the rest of the winter. And I've then thrown this faux fur coat, faux shearling coat, in fact, from Adolfo Dominguez over the top to just give this a bit more of a glamorous edge. And I really liked how this look came out. But then you can also just dress it down. And another way I've been wearing it is with a red jumper. This one is a boiled wool jumper from COS that I picked up a while ago. And I thought that was also kind of just a super nice look. And again, it's the sheer trend, but it's tapping into this statement piece where the rest of the outfit is quite plain. And I think it's just a really, really nice, playful thing to have. And then a second way in which I've styled this skirt, and this again ties into the feminine tailoring trend, is I picked up this blazer here, which is collarless, buttoned all the way down, and it's very, very cinched. It creates a beautiful hourglass shape. And I picked this up for 60 euros from Mango. I was initially hesitant to pick this up because I think this is mostly polyester or some other synthetic. And I've been seeing these kind of blazers in Arcade and I think and other stories it was for multiples of the price of this. And obviously they were in nicer quality, like you can't have everything. But I feel like this is not a piece that I'm going to be wearing day in, day out. This is something for going out, for an occasion, for an event. So even though it's synthetic, it shouldn't age that much because you wear it a few times, then you dry clean it. But, you know, it's not going through the wash on a daily basis. And I thought the shape of it is beautiful. I really love it. And considering I wanted something like this, but wasn't really prepared to fork out 200 euros as it was in Arcade, this is kind of a really nice compromise. But actually, in actual fact, and I've mentioned this before, you don't have to buy a blazer like this if you want to tap into the feminine tailoring trend. Kind of any blazer that isn't absolutely hugely oversized will do. And then all you need to do, I have my little stash of props here on the side. All you need to do is belt the blazer. A rope belt is great, but you don't have to use a rope belt. You can also use any kind of other kind of skinny belt or any belt that is kind of soft and drapes nicely. Or you can even use quite a big sash belt to cinch the waist in, like whatever works. Have a little play with what you've already got in your wardrobe. And that is a really easy and affordable way to take part in this feminine tailoring trend. Another item I picked up in the Adolfo Dominguez sale that I showed you last week. I haven't got it on the rack here now because I think it's in the wash. But it is this super fine merino wool jumper and it has a little bit of a see-through element. It kind of depends what you wear underneath it, but you can play with the feeling of see-through. So this is another way, if you have something like this, to play with this trend, or maybe you have a blouse or something that is just a tiny bit see-through and then you layer something nice underneath it, maybe something that has a little bit of lace or kind of just an interesting shape. And here's another way where you can use existing things in your wardrobe to take part in this trend. Another really easy way to tap into the feminine dressing trend is with pearl jewelry. You might have a pearl necklace, maybe from your mum or inherited from your grandma. I think most of us have one thing or another. And if not, pearls can actually be quite affordable. I have some that are natural pearls. They're a bit wonky. They're not the same shape, all of them, but I do like this more organic take on a pearl necklace. And those have been quite affordable. I'm talking around the 20 or 30 euro marker. And we're on to trend number 3, which is another drive away from the era of quiet luxury, and we're heading back into full-on glamour. This is what we've seen on the runways, really, really, really striking coats with exaggerated shoulders, some of them in very shiny leather. We've seen full-length coats in various guises of animal print. Faux fur coats seem to be everywhere. I'm also going to lump into this trend the re-emergence of the 80s shapes of the strong shoulder and the cinched waist, a little bit like the feminine tailoring, but in kind of much bolder, more electrically vibrant colors. So to a certain extent, that is the evolution of the mob wife trend that we saw last year. And the glamour trend now is just picking up where we left off and throwing in a bit more of the 80s as well. I have to admit, I'm not that keen on the 80s. If you've been there the first time around, even as a spectator, as I was just a child, I'm not really that keen to do this again. But the whole trend of the animal print, for example, and also the kind of leather and faux leather, that I can definitely get on board with. So I showed this coat earlier. This is a great one, for example. I think this is quite glamorous with the furry trim. Of course, also if you have a full-on faux fur coat, now is the time to wear it. We saw these, I don't know, can't remember, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. We already saw these faux fur coats and now they're coming back. So if you've held on to what you had then, dig it out. I resurrected one that I bought in Zara in the sale many years ago, and I'll show it to you in the cutaways. It's kind of in this sort of softish pink, and it's a really oversized, pretty shapeless thing. And then in terms of this glamour aesthetic coming back, animal print I think is brilliant. Again, this goes through the motions every 3-4 years. We're seeing slightly different animal prints each time, but I feel like it's such a classic that I'm holding on to my animal print pieces, and I have done so for the last 2 decades. So here's a very subtle way to do this glamour trend. For example, with a pair of leopard heels, you might have something like this, or even leopard flats in your wardrobe. Those were super cheap. I don't wear them all that much, but I do love how they look, and I'm not going to get rid of them. Accessories, of course, mock croc is a very, very nice one. You get a lot of embossed leather at the moment that is made to look like fake croc. It's everywhere, so it's a nice and easy way to go into this glamour trend. And then snakeskin has been everywhere as well the last few years, and it's still ongoing. So these are all really great and hopefully easy and affordable ways to take part in this trend, should you wish to do so. And speaking of things that I've held on to for a very long time, here's one, for example. I think this is from 2016, if I remember this correctly. And this is a leopard coat from Zara. I kept this. Now is the time to get this back out. I haven't actually tried this in a while, so let's hope it still fits. Oh yeah. So I think this is still, this is still really cool. I like this. It's always nice when you discover something that you kind of put to the back of your mind. I feel like these kind of trends that I've been discussing, they kind of blend into each other a little bit, so you're not really sure where one ends and where the other one begins. Pleated trousers, for example. And here is a pair of trousers that I wanted to show you. I'm not really sure which of these trend boxes it ticks. I feel like it ticks a few different ones, but I saw these on the COS website and I did go ahead and pick them up in the store. And they are pleated wool trousers, but they are tapered at the bottom. So they create, again, a beautiful hourglass. They are a statement piece, and I think they are a bit of a nod to the 80s. So we're ticking loads of boxes here. These are gorgeous. I picked these up in a size 42, even though in COS I'm a 40 and sometimes even bizarrely a 38. But if you have wider hips, I would recommend sizing up and then cinching these with a belt rather than sizing down, because the pleats will start to open and it's not going to look right. You can wear these with a loafer beautifully. You can wear these with a little heel beautifully. They'll look good in the summer with a simple top and let the trouser do all the talking. They also look great just with a jumper now in the last months of the winter, and then layering a nice coat on top. I really, really wanted those when I saw them on the website, and there you go. Now I have them. And the other thing you can do to tap into the glamour trend quite easily and affordably is with leather gloves. These ones I picked up in the sale for half price, very affordable at 20 euros. I already have a pair of really, really long black gloves that I've shown in a few videos before. These are super glamorous. You can have them peeping out from under a coat. You can scrunch the arms up a little bit and then just see some of the glove. And it's a really kind of a nod to this whole glamour aesthetic that we're seeing a resurgence of again in 2026. Then In the whole glamour trend, we're also seeing statement necklaces return. This was last a thing in the late 2000s and the early 2010s. And if, like me, you've held on to your statement necklaces, now might be the time to get them back out, but proceed with caution, because I don't think those ones that covered the entire jumper and looked like you're wearing the whole kitchen sink are going to be on trend again. It is a more delicate take on the statement jewelry, if that makes any kind of sense. So a good way, for example, to pick something up now is natural stone necklaces. They are very affordable and they're really, really nice. And I'm going to show you a few in the cutaways that I picked up recently. And also, you get these in various different colors, so they can be quite colorful, which is going to be tapping into the pop of color trend. So it's a tick on all the trend boxes with these ones. And the next style aesthetic I wanted to mention that we are still seeing is preppy. Preppy is still going strong, although they are trying to sell this to us now under different guises, but to be honest, it's kind of all a little bit of the same. So when people are talking about poet core and librarian chic, really that's just preppy, isn't it? Isn't librarian chic just the preppy trend, but with a pencil skirt and a pair of glasses on? I don't really see much of a difference. And by the way, I don't know how I feel about people wearing glasses that don't normally wear glasses, just for the effect that it has on the look. I think that might be going a little bit far. And yet here I am in the cutaways wearing my glasses, in which I can't actually see anything because they're reading glasses, just because they're making for a very nice outfit. So, you'll forgive me. And then if you want my thoughts on poet core, or maybe you don't want my thoughts on poet core, I think for a start, okay, anything that ends in core in the fashion world, I'm totally going to ignore, because, my God, what did we have? We had ballet core, we had mermaid core. Also, I'm struggling a little bit to see the attractiveness of looking like your old school geography teacher who was not very fashionable at the time. So I love preppy, I dress preppy anyway, but with this one, I think less is more. So my take here on the sexy librarian preppy trend is an outfit that I styled with my suede skirt from Massimo Dutti. I love this, I have to wear it more, it's a little bit neglected. And I've styled this suede skirt with a cashmere jumper. And then I layered on top a jacket that I've got new, again, still has the tags on, not sure if I will keep it or not. It's a wool blazer from Massimo. It's 100% wool. It was reduced in the last days of the sale. I've kind of had my eyes on this the entire time it was in stock and in the store, even at full price. So when I saw it go down to nearly half price, I kind of snapped it up. So a blazer like this, or you may have a houndstooth blazer or a tweed blazer or similar thing. This is a really, really great way to do the preppy trend. And I think rather than going out and buying new pieces, you can really use what you've already got and just play with layers of things. So shirts, jumpers, cardigans, scarves, blazers, coats, like the whole shebang. And for the last trend, which is a color trend, and it is pops of color. And the colors that we're going to be predominantly seeing next year are, according to my forecast, red and blue. So red's been huge last year. It's not going anywhere for now, but we're going to be seeing more vibrant blues. They can be anything from this kind of royal blue to a kind of cornflower blue to quite an electric blue, or even turquoise. So there's a shade of blue for everybody, I'm sure. Blue is such a great color. And we're going to be seeing this in kind of pops of color. With pops of color, I don't necessarily just mean accessories, even though accessories are a great way of doing this very affordably. Just with, you could use a scarf, for example, or a handbag or a pair of shoes, or even the cheapest way of doing pop of color is with a pair of socks, for example, in a nice, vibrant color. But also we're going to be seeing it in clothing. Colorful jumpers are going to be everywhere. And rather than the way we styled them about 5 years ago, where we had the full-on color blocking in contrasting colors, we're going to have a more subtle take on it. We're going to have more color matching with colors within the same kind of palette, within the same hue, and also we're going to have colors matched with more neutrals. So this is going to be the 2026 take on color and pops of color. This is actually a trend that I'm here for, even though I think color trends are a little bit stupid. Wear whatever color suits you, whatever color you like, and forget about color trends is what I would say. So an easy way of doing the pop of color trend, for example, is also with these little triangle scarves that you can get in various colors, or some silk scarves going now into the warmer months of the year. And these are super affordable and can really put a pop of color onto an otherwise plain outfit. And we're done. I have waffled on for an eternity. This is my roundup of the biggest trends of 2026. Let me know if you like any of those trends. Let me know if you're going to take part in any of those trends. Let me know if you liked my looks, if you liked the outfits, and give me a like. Just give me a like. If you liked it or not, just give me a like, okay? Subscribe to the channel, come back for more. I feel like we're building a nice little community here, and I'm all here for it. So see you again very, very shortly with another video. Have a wonderful rest of the week, everybody, and bye-bye.